More police have been deployed in Gauteng following the spread of violence and looting in the province. Police Minister Bheki Cele visited the Johannesburg CBD yesterday and described the unrest as a national emergency. Police have arrested more than 100 people after businesses were vandalized and torched in Jeppestown, Malvern, Ekurhuleni and Pretoria. To tell us more, we're joined in studio by Brigadier Mathapelo Peters, who is the spokesperson for Gauteng Police. Brigadier, good to have you. Thanks very, very much.
Thank you very much. Good
Give us an update of the situation and what happened overnight.
It has been tense overnight, but no other incidents occurred except we found out this morning that there could be threats of looting in Alexandra. But police managed to contain the situation. We have been on the ground since Sunday. We arrested a total of over 100 now, with 8 more that were arrested, because last night it was 92, and then overnight 8 more were arrested in Malvern. And it's for different charges ranging from public violence, arson, possession of stolen property, as well as malicious damage to property.
Yeah. So, I mean, when we look at the reasoning and the cause behind what's going on, because this looks like an orchestrated move. It seems to be moving from one area to the next area to the next area. We obviously saw this erupting, and it was the story of a taxi driver who was trying to stop a drug dealer. The taxi driver was then killed, and then the anger started. Do we know more? What is at the root of all of this?
Leanne, for now, we believe it's pure criminality, because even in Tshwane, when we met with the taxi groups and taxi associations, they actually distanced themselves from the violence that erupted in Tshwane last week. It was quiet until this past Sunday morning in Jeppestown, where a building caught fire and 3 people perished and they succumbed to their injuries. So the information that we have is that people were called out to come and assist with extinguishing the fire. And instead of that, they chose to find an opportunity to do crime, and they started looting the shops, because some of the suspects we arrested who were found in the shops were actually in their pajamas and gowns. So we believe that this is really just pure criminality and opportunistic. Yeah.
Looking at the shops and the businesses that have been looted, are they all foreign owned, or is it just random looting that's taking place?
It's just random, because I know one of the stores that were looted and damaged was Pep Stores yesterday, as well as I think it's USafe. It's one of the shops, as well as the car dealership. So it's not only foreign nationals, and that is why we believe that this is not targeted. It's just a general opportunistic thing where they find an opportunity to do crime and they go for it.
Yeah. You were part of the team that went with Police Minister Bheki Cele yesterday. You went to some of the hotspots. In your own words, how would you describe the situation you saw?
It is quite tense, and when you listen to some of the people on the ground, they might have valid reasons why they are unhappy with some of the things happening. But like we said, they've also distanced themselves from the acts of criminality. We have gone out and condemned this, because what we have found also is that even on social media, there's been a spreading of fake news where, for instance, a video of a man that was burning. Unfortunately, we were able to confirm very quickly that in fact was an incident of mob justice in January. It had nothing to do with yesterday. So I think this angers some people who have access to social media and the media as well, where instead of condemning, they find that no, there's reason to commit this kind of criminality.
Yeah. You mentioned right at the beginning when you were answering the question, saying that you understand some of their reasons. You talk about what's happening on social media. Perhaps that's the fake news, but that would be one incident. What are the reasons? Why are they telling you they're doing this?
Well, for some of these reasons, Leanne, we'll only be able to go into it once the minister has met with them, because there is a meeting today with the minister and some of the indunas and the hostel dwellers. So we do not want to preempt what would come out of that, but just listening on the streets, it was more. Some of them were even quoting, and we find that it's very mischievous. They were quoting the incident where police were attacked in the CBD on one of the raids in, I think it was August. So they were quoting that when we in fact condemned that incident, as well as the police, that it was criminal, it shouldn't have happened, but it cannot be a justification to commit crime.
Yeah. You know, so many people are calling what is happening around South Africa, and I say around South Africa because not that we're going to be talking about the trucks, because I know that that's not your field, but that it needs to be added to what's going on on top of all of the looting and the scenes that we're seeing around the country, some people are calling this a national emergency. Some people are saying that this is a major situation and it needs to be addressed. I know that the police are addressing it, but people are questioning whether this is good enough.
Leanne, I can confirm that last night the net joints, which is a structure where all government departments sit, they issued a statement through my colleague Brigadier Vish Naidu. So I think government is giving attention to this. We've had a lot of entities condemning the incidents of criminality, not only from the police side, because unfortunately for us as the police, we come at the very end. Yeah. Some of these grievances and protests are really not about the police, but unfortunately we find ourselves in the middle of it. But I want to believe that government is working hard and they're working together to address this.
Yeah, you know, last night we also saw the violence spread to Pretoria when shacks and also a scrapyard was set alight in Brabastad. What is the situation now in those areas where violence was also seen yesterday?
There were a number of suspects arrested also there for public violence, in addition to those that were arrested last week. But fortunately, there were no injuries reported, so we will be monitoring the situation. We've actually heightened our deployments as well, given the threats of violence that we received overnight. So our police are there on the ground to make sure that no further violence erupts.
Yeah. So I know we're talking to the fact that this is criminality. Others talking to the fact it's xenophobia. Others saying that this is a fact. They are attacking foreign nationals, and it's just an excuse to go out and attack people and steal things. Word on the ground with regard to foreign nationals.
Leanne, I would still go back and say it's just criminality, it's malicious, it's got really nothing to do with foreign nationals. I think maybe for now they could be an easy target because we saw even the looting in Soweto a few weeks ago. So we want to condemn it in the strongest of terms because these people, as long as they are in the country and not committing crime, they cannot be a target for criminality.
Again, people being angry at the police as to how sometimes they dealt with the situation. I know that I've even seen a couple of videos where police have actually opened fire on people. And I mean, obviously there were rubber bullets and they need to protect themselves, but some are worried that the police are not necessarily handling the situation properly.
Well, up to so far, Leanne, we have been satisfied with the way the police have approached the situation, including the one where we had to tactically withdraw to make sure that no people got injured if we were to use live ammunition. So given the situation, and I mean, last week in Tshwane, for instance, we had a group of about 3,000. So the police will deploy whatever tactic is necessary. But obviously, our intention is not to injure people or to kill. It's just to perhaps disperse a crowd or to just bring the situation to a state of stability.
Yeah. There are reports that the minister is going to be sending in more police into the hotspots and to different areas. Is that confirmed? Will we see more policing on the streets today?
For now, even yesterday already, the provincial commissioner had in fact spoken to some of the district commissioners to assist in deploying more numbers in terms of visible policing. So I'm sure the police minister, by this afternoon, we will have an idea whether or not they will be sending people. But I mean, the minister made a commitment, so I'm sure that will happen.
The death toll, we know yesterday that one man was killed. There were unconfirmed reports that there may have been a second death. Do you know anything further than that?
At this stage, yes, I can confirm the one that succumbed to injuries yesterday afternoon. The second one also, Leanne, is unconfirmed. I will only know much later in the morning when we do get the consolidated reports of the incidents that could have happened overnight.
Yeah. The army, we have to go there because there's been calls for that to happen as well. We see that in some hotspots in the Western Cape. We know that the army have gone in, the SANDF are monitoring visible policing, everything you're talking to assist the police in their work. Has there been talk about this to try and come in and help the situation?
I will reiterate what the Provincial Commissioner General Mawela has said before, that for now Gauteng does not need the army. We had these sporadic incidents that took place over the past weekend and one in Tshwane last week, and we think we are coping and we are okay for now. So there hasn't been any talk of the army for Gauteng at this stage. Yeah.
Also, just to get a confirmation on the amount of people arrested so far, 40 is the number we have. I don't know if you have more. Arrests, confirmed arrests that have taken place so far.
By last night, Luyen, I know we released a statement. It was 92. This morning, I was told that there were 8 more that were arrested for possession of stolen property in Malvern.
Okay, so we're sitting at almost 100 arrests.
Over 100,
that have been made since yesterday and overnight, and of course,
in fact, since Sunday. Sorry,
this is since Sunday. Okay, all right. So that's the updated information that we're getting from Brigadier Mathapelo Peters. Just before I let you go, there are people that are scared. They are worried at this point, particularly those commuters that want to go to work. They need to find out, is it safe to go into the CBD, into Tshwane, into the south of Johannesburg, into other areas that were scenes of some violent looting yesterday. What do you advise them today?
Leanne, we have received information of there being threats against commuters as well as those who would be transporting them to work, especially in the Tshwane area. Ours as the police is to make sure that there is no incidents of criminality that are happening. But we also want to advise our people on the ground to make sure and take care of their own safety. They must be able to gauge the situation and see. But given the violence with which this has been happening, I would rather say if one doesn't feel safe, then they rather stay home or find alternative routes or just personal safety, heightened personal safety.
Yeah. So it doesn't look like it's going to be any calmer today from what I'm hearing from you. People must be very aware that scenes we saw yesterday could again take place today.
Yeah, like I said, it's tense, but it is under control. Yeah.
Thanks for talking to us. That was Brigadier Mathapelo Peters, spokesperson for the Gauteng Police, giving us an update on the looting and the violence that's taking place in the